Today we're talking about fairy tales, but not the Disney kind. We're diving into the original Grimm brothers' Snow White. And fair warning, this isn't your childhood bedtime story. This is the version that would give modern parents nightmares and child psychologists a field day. These are the shocking details that prove the Brothers Grimm had some seriously twisted ideas about what constitutes a happy ending. So buckle up, because we're about to ruin your nostalgia faster than a poisoned apple. The evil queen's fashion sense was literally killer. Let's start with everyone's favorite villain. In the original 1812 version, just like the Disney version, the evil queen becomes Snow White's stepmother when Snow White's mom dies after she's born. Think about that for a second. Your new mom wants you dead because you're prettier than her. Talk about toxic parenting.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all?
To this the mirror answered,
You, my queen, are fairest of all.
Then she was satisfied, for she knew that the mirror spoke the truth.
But here's where it gets really messed up. The queen doesn't just want Snow White gone. She wants her lungs and liver as proof. Not her heart like Disney sanitized it for us. Lungs and liver. Because apparently, in fairy tale land, organ harvesting is just good business practice. Bring me back her internal organs so I can, what exactly? Make a stew? The huntsman's side hustle as a butcher. The huntsman, that supposedly merciful guy who let Snow White escape. In the Grimm version, he's running a whole con game.
Then she summoned a huntsman and said to him,
Take Snow White out into the woods. I never want to see her again. Kill her, and as proof that she is dead, bring her lungs and her liver back to me.
The huntsman obeyed and took Snow White into the woods. He took out his hunting knife and was about to stab it into her innocent heart when she began to cry, saying,
Oh dear huntsman, let me live. I will run into the wild woods and never come back.
He kills a wild boar, brings back its lungs and liver to the queen, and she, get this, boils them in salt water and eats them, thinking she's consuming her daughter's organs. So we've got attempted murder, organ trafficking, and unwitting cannibalism all in the first act. And this was considered children's literature.
These lungs taste suspiciously porky.
The dwarfs were running a child labor camp. Everyone loves the Seven Dwarfs, right? Those cute little miners who take Snow White in out of the goodness of their hearts? Wrong. They literally put her to work as their unpaid housekeeper. Cook, clean, wash, mend. Basically, they turned a traumatized refugee into their live-in domestic servant. And the terms of the deal?
If you keep house for us, we'll protect you.
That's not kindness. That's indentured servitude with a smile.
Welcome to our home. Here's your apron. The dishes don't clean themselves.
The apple wasn't the queen's first murder attempt. Disney made it seem like the poisoned apple was the queen's one big evil plan. But in the original, she tries to kill Snow White 3 separate times. First, she nearly strangles her with a corset laced so tight it cuts off her breathing. When that fails, she tries to poison her with a comb that knocks her unconscious. Only after 2 failed assassination attempts does she go for the apple. This woman had the persistence of a serial killer and the creativity of a medieval torturer.
3rd time's the charm. Now, what household item can I weaponize next?
The prince was basically a necrophiliac. Here's where things get really uncomfortable. In Disney's version, the prince wakes Snow White with true love's kiss. Sweet, right? In the Grimm version, there's no kiss. The prince sees Snow White's corpse in the glass coffin and basically says,
I'll take that dead body, please.
Now it came to pass that a prince entered these woods and happened onto the dwarf's house, where he sought shelter for the night. He saw the coffin on the mountain with beautiful Snow White in it, and he read what was written on it with golden letters. Then he said to the dwarfs,
Let me have the coffin. I will give you anything you want for it.
But the dwarfs answered,
We will not sell it for all the gold in the world.
He eventually convinces the dwarfs to sell him the coffin because he cannot live without looking upon Snow White. He literally wants to keep a dead teenager as decoration in his castle. Snow White only wakes up when the prince's servants are carrying the coffin and trip, dislodging the apple from her throat. Pure accident.
Yes, I'd like to purchase one beautiful corpse for my bedroom, please.
The evil queen's death scene was medieval torture. Disney had the queen fall off a cliff. Clean, quick, end of story. The Brothers Grimm? They went full medieval on her execution. At Snow White's wedding, they forced the queen to wear red-hot iron shoes and dance until she drops dead. They literally torture her to death at what's supposed to be a celebration of love. Then they put a pair of iron shoes into burning coals. They were brought forth with tongs and placed before her. She was forced to step into the red-hot shoes and dance until she fell down dead.
Congratulations on your marriage. Now watch us commit murder.
Why the Brothers Grimm thought this was kid-friendly. Here's the thing that really gets me. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm collected these stories specifically for children. They thought graphic violence, child labor, and necrophilia were appropriate bedtime reading. Their logic? These stories taught moral lessons. Don't be vain like the queen. Be industrious like Snow White. Beauty will save you from everything.
Children need to learn that if you're pretty enough, someone will eventually want to marry your corpse. That's just good life advice.
The real moral of the story. So what's the actual lesson here? That fairy tales weren't originally meant to comfort children. They were meant to terrify them into good behavior.
Be good, or your mother might try to eat your organs.
Is basically the Grimm brothers' parenting philosophy. The original Snow White isn't a story about love conquering all. It's a horror story about surviving in a world where your own family might literally try to kill you, where kindness comes with strings attached, and where your happy ending depends entirely on how decorative your corpse looks. The twisted truth. So there you have it, the fairy tale that makes Game of Thrones look like a family sitcom. From cannibalistic mothers and necrophiliac princes to torture executions and child labor, the original Snow White proves that the Brothers Grimm had some seriously dark ideas about childhood entertainment. Which shocking detail disturbed you most, the organ-eating mother or the corpse-collecting prince? Drop your pick in the comments, hit subscribe, and join us next time when we'll ruin another piece of your childhood. Because somebody has to tell you the truth about these innocent fairy tales.